What was the most? Because so you go from that thinking, okay, I'm gonna do this thing now, to now you wanted to become actual creative. So that's the next step is sharing the work. Was that difficult for you? What was it like when you have to actually share your work with other people?
Um, Honestly, I felt like I was very overconfident. Like, I just basically just drew as much work as I could, and then I'll just show my mates at like, especially at like at house parties and stuff. But because I'd be hosting it, I'd just be like, "Yo, check this shit out," and
That's
like.
so sick.
But now, like, it was a sense of confidence, but I felt like it was also false confidence because obviously, like the work I was doing was good, but it wasn't at its best. And on top of that, it's like when you were asking me like, how did I feel about it at the time? It was genuinely just a lot of yeah, I've done this and this is good. But now I'm like, no, I can be better. I mean, better,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. That's so interesting, right? Like
Mm.
before, because I'm the same way. Like I look at the stuff I've done, and I'm like, before I thought, oh my god, this was like when I was doing it, I was like, okay, I might have done something. I want to show people. I think for me, it was difficult for me to share my work, maybe
Really.
because of the content, because obviously it's poems and it's super vulnerable, it's super personal. So when I
Mm.
wrote it, I wouldn't, I wouldn't show it. I'm laughing because the first person I would show was a girl. This
Oh,
girl I was
man.
chatting to, this is the first person that I've like actually like sent because she was also a poet and she was like, oh
Okay.
yeah, she was encouraging me to do it. And I was like, you know what, fine, I'll send it to you when I've done it. And that was the first initial one. And I think without her, I wouldn't have even started sharing it because I
Really?
knew because I had to get over that fear of sharing it with other people. And I think it helped that person understood what that fear was like. That they were like, oh yeah, like it's cool, like you can do better, but like this is a good start.
But did you not want to show? You just said it's because it's like personal. Was it more of like you didn't want people seeing that kind of perspective of you? Is that what it
I
was?
think, but it's a little bit of that too. I think definitely
Yeah.
I didn't want people seeing that because it felt like you had established relationship with your friends, like they know you. You come out, you clown each other, whatever. I
Oh
was
yeah,
basically
yeah.
giving them free ammo. I was giving them free ammo to clown me, man. It was crazy.
Okay.
So
Nah,
it
I
was
feel
like,
that. I feel
so it was
that.
like it was a different way. I was
Yeah.
talking about life. I was talking about upbringing. I was talking about girls sometimes too. And it's like at the beginning, right at the beginning, I care. I guess you still care what people think of you.
No,
Um,
definitely.
and so it was okay, cool. Like, okay, how do I get past that? And that was like the initial thing. And like once I did, like I started sharing it with friends and it became easier. I was like, okay, cool. I just start sending it to people,
I
and
see.
their reactions was like it's funny because like they react how they react. Some people was like, this is amazing. Some people was like, it's good, alright. And like, did you
Yeah,
get
yeah.
that too, or was it different for you?
Nah, you know what? I think initially when I used to show it to people, everyone was like, "Yo, this is hard. This is hard." But I think half the time it's because people were like waved. So, so like I was bare gassed, and then like, I started deepening it. Like, oh no, like did they actually rate? But then I can't lie. Afterwards, I started showing it to people when I was sober, and it's like I'll be honest with you, I got a lot of people rating it, but then a lot of people like,
Mm,
yeah, you can definitely work on this. But
mm,
I was more thankful to hear that because, like I said before, when I showed my artwork, I was confident, so I thought it was perfect. But when people actually started criticizing, and not in like a negative way, just being like, oh yeah, this looks this and that, I was like, okay, cool. I
mm.
started writing down the things that I
They were
needed to.
saying, yeah, that's when you start taking it really seriously.
Mm.
What was that process of taking it from like going from like you were making mistakes to actually now you started actually getting better and better and better? Like for example, let's take Jagabon Boy. Let's take the story of Jagabon Boy that you've created, and I think is one of the great stories.
Oh, sick.
But like, what was that process like refining that kind of work? Would you do it and then share with people and then refine it, or would you just keep refining it regardless and not only show it to people like when you felt they were ready, when the arcs were ready and stuff like that?
Um, I, s- I think for me, it's like I kind of always make notes of things
Mm,
when I'm writing stuff. So for example, if I'm not very happy with something, I'll probably just make a note in like this app called Trello where you can just basically put like random notes of like things you want to change. I'll
mm,
put it in that specific chapter section and just be like, okay, Zeke said ABC, and then it's like I'll come back to it when I'm basically gonna wreck on it. I don't really have that issue with writing the story because I already know how I want my story to go out. Go
mm-hmm.
out. I've been like planning it since I was like 16. So it's
Mm.
like I kind of know how to avoid those plot holes. The only issue, but I can give you an example.
Go
I've
on.
recently been doing tutorials on my TikTok page
Hmm.
of showing like
Shout out to TikTok page. Look at it in the description.
hey down below.
Check down below.
Shout out
Check
for
it
the
out,
shout.
bro. We're doing that
Let's
now. We're
let's
doing that, bro.
on
But
the
yeah,
right.
sorry. Go on. Go on.
No, but yeah, the TikTok page. So I was having issues growing it. It's not even on like a crazy situation right now, but long story short, I was basically not getting as much views, and I was like posting every single day, like actually different content of like speed draws of like some of the sketches I was doing, like the digital ones. And I realized that like the reason I wasn't getting views was also because of some of the things my friends were saying. Videos too long, music's not too popular, all these small things. So I started studying the algorithm, learning like the best times to post, like how long the video should be. And then I ended up making like a timetable. Next thing you know, I started seeing my views getting like double the views I was getting, double the likes I was getting. Page started growing, like getting different followers each day. And like now it's just basically revision. Basically, like most of the issues I face, it's just something that I'll just be like, okay, that's gone wrong, let me revise it.
So you revise you have an idea with you have a routine or a plan to initially put it out, and then you will keep revising that until you get it correct. And then you listen to other people's feedback because obviously you're humble and you actually want to grow the work.
Yeah.
And then you can incorporate the feedback and get better and better that way.
No, 100%.
What are some of the kind of like, let's say, I'm trying to think properly. Yeah, what's some other advice you would give to struggling artists? Like, say someone is like in that perspective where they're right at the beginning of their kind of their journey, where they thought of an idea, we have this really cool idea, like you said, think about this idea since you were 16 years old, and now they actually want to like take it to the next step. And for them, that next step is sharing it with people. That next step is sitting down, getting a routine, you know. But they're facing doubts, you know. They're doing it. They're not getting the same responses from everyone else they thought they would. You know, people care, but then they don't care. What's some of the advice you give to people on how to get through that kind of period of creativity where you're kind of alone in your vision and you're kind of struggling, but you know that it's going to get better?
I feel like they should just basically do everything as trial and error. But the advice I could probably give is just genuinely like putting your stuff out there, asking your friends and like even people who are not even into it, just ask what their opinion is. Because at the end of the day, if you want your thing to grow, for one, it needs to be able to have a fan base, but also get some sort of recognition from people who don't know anything. Like if you go to somebody who doesn't watch anime, you can still ask them like, oh, do you know who Goku is? And the only reason why that's the case is because it's like it's been kind of refined in this situation where it's like they've kind of just been like, okay, what do I do wrong, and then how to avoid that. So it's just basically like trial and error, but also asking and being kind of like socially aware, and I guess just aware kind of.
Okay, cool. I think it's so interesting. I completely agree with you. I think like the idea of the struggling artist or the struggling creative, especially in our day and age, you know, like right now everyone's kind of terminally online. So you can, if you want to make something, you can. Because all you got to do is make the thing that some one person will kind of like relate to, will kind of like, you know. Like the way I think about my work, I think about even the podcast, is that I'm making it for my friends. My target audience is people like you. My target audience is only my friends, because I know I have the coolest friends, first off.
Yeah.
Like they're the people who do the most with the best taste. But also like I know that if I can get someone like you to like it, then I can get another person to like it. But I don't know the other person. I know you. I know what your interests are. I know the things that that you relate to. So if I target that, then that's more of a tangible way for me to improve and get feedback from you, you know, and then vice versa, you know, because I think like you know, we'll go back to Jagabon Boy, but I feel like the fact that you made Jagabon Boy, you made that with the idea of Mandem in mind. You made that with like Mandem as the target audience, because it's understandable, like, you know, like I don't know, I don't want to put words in your mouth. Who would you say that your story is for? Who is the target audience?
I'll be real, it's like I can definitely I can see why you'd say that. I think it's kind of mainly, if I'm going to be brutally honest, just people who are into like just comics and manga. Mainly comic and manga. Yeah, so definitely appeal to like probably the manga, maybe like just a variety of people. But the reason why I feel like it wouldn't just appeal to them, because it's like, for one, it's like it's kind of just more of like its own thing, but it has that element in it. Because I don't want to make it be like, oh yeah, this is what it's like. Because bro, I don't even know what it's like. I just kind of used an idea of it and then incorporate it. Because it is something that I've at least kind of been like seen around. But it's kind of like, I just want to make it very its own thing, but it has elements of reality into it. And another thing as well is that because of the area where it's based, it's like I'm gonna do different types of continents, and it's not continents but locations. And with that, I'm gonna obviously do traveling, so I can use that experience to then make it a bit more marketable for everyone. So yeah, it could be for the mandem, it could be for like the Galdem, it can be for everyone. But at the end of the day, it's mainly for comic and manga fans. But
What?
for everyone.
Let's go into that then about
Yeah.
comic and manga fans. I think what was it about comics or manga that drew you to it? Like, what was it that initially, when you first read your first comic or you saw your first manga, that you thought this is something I like, this is something I enjoy?